Okay, hello and welcome to lesson 1 on inequalities. Before we get to that, I just wanted to touch briefly on where you are with functions. So at this stage you should have completed the check-in task and sent that to your teacher, and you should have ticked off all these bullet points for functions as well. Now you will probably need to review this at some point, do a bit more exam practice on it when you get into year 11, but you should have ticked off all those bullet points at this stage. Okay, so starting with inequalities, topic 28. As you can see, there's quite a few things that we need to touch on when we go to inequalities. It really varies in terms of the difficulty as well. So some of these things that we're going to do today in today's lesson, and also some of the first few lessons, are relatively straightforward, things that you might have seen before. When you get down to things where you've got quadratic inequalities, this one here, you're talking about kind of grade 7, grade 8, that sort of area. But some of these ones initially can be sort of grade 4, grade 5. So yeah, it varies a lot, this topic, in terms of difficulty. Now, in terms of today, we're just going to work on this first bullet point here, so showing inequalities on number lines, okay? So that's going to be your title, so representing inequalities on a number line. And I guess initially, I just want to check that we understand what these symbols mean and check that you've got these written in your books and that you're okay with how to express these, how to say them. So this first one, the way you would read this is you would say that x is greater than 4. The second one here, you look at the change in symbol and you would say this is x is less than or equal to 4. And the line at the bottom is why we've got that equal to part of the sentence there. And that is important, and it's displayed on the number lines as well. There's a slight difference with the way that you represent that on a number line. This one here, the symbol is the same way around as this one, but there's no equal part here, so this is just x is less than 4. And finally, we've got the symbol the same way around as the top one, but we've got the equal sign there, so x is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so if you feel like you know those pretty well, there's no expectation for you to copy those down into your books, but if you would like a record of just the way that those symbols are, then feel free to do that. So this is the sort of question you might get at GCSE. Represent the inequality x is greater than 2 on this number line. So the reason I did that bit a second ago was just to make sure that we can say that inequality. So x is greater than 2. So the way that we're going to represent this on a number line is you first of all find where 2 is, which is here, and you draw that with a circle, okay? And because we're looking for x to be greater than 2, we're going to draw a line going this way and just an arrow at the end of it, okay? So that represents the inequality x is greater than 2. Now, as well as copying that example down, I want you to copy down this example as well. This one is representing the inequality x is less than or equal to 4, okay? Now, there's a couple of differences here in comparison to the previous one. So first of all, x is greater than 2. Because it was greater than 2, we're going this way. Okay, you can also see here that we've got an open circle. If I look at this example, x is less than or equal to 4. First of all, I want a circle on 4, but I want the arrow going this way because it's less than 4. But because it's less than or equal to 4, I need to shade this circle in. Okay, so we want a closed circle when it's greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, okay? So whenever you see that equal to part, that's when you shade the circle in. And it's worth making a note of that in your books when you're copying these examples down and saying it's when it's equal to that you have a shaded circle. When it's just greater than or less than is when you have an open circle. Okay, third example here, you can see we've got n is greater than -2, but n is less than or equal to 3. So we're talking about an enclosed inequality here, a double inequality. So you find -2 there, you find 3 there, And we're looking for the numbers in between. So we're looking for this part here. And now the final thing to remember is just that when it's equal to, you shade in that circle like that. Okay? So that's what we're looking for that example. I would copy that one down as well. And then you also need to be able to work backwards. So if you look at this one, we want to write down the inequalities shown by this diagram. So we've got x here, we've got an open circle, so I know it's going to be greater than or less than, and then it's going in that direction, so we're looking at x is less than 3. Okay, that would be my answer for that one. And finally for this one, we're looking at x there. I'm looking at it being in between -1 and 4, essentially. That's the part, that's what the inequality is showing me there. It's showing me that x is in between -1 and 4. So the way I write that is I'm saying x needs to be less than 4 there, but x also needs to be greater than or equal to -1. Equal to because it's shaded in there. Okay? So that's the final example there. I would like you to copy all those into your books, and I would encourage you to make some notes as well. The sorts of things I'm looking for in terms of your notes are things like, when you've got something like that, just understanding that you've got an open circle and that, whereas when you've got that symbol, you're looking at that. This one would be something like that. And so on, and just make a few notes about what your inequality should look like on a number line given the symbols that you've got in the question. You can also make some notes on these enclosed ones as well, the double inequalities, so that it's clear that you need the line in between and then whether you're shading the circles in or not. Okay? All right, any questions, then please email your teacher and have a go at the questions that are in the booklet. All right, thank you.